Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the indicator store of the series Do It Yourself. And today I want to explain how to use the optimization fitness, or how to create your own optimization fitness. But for that, we start from the beginning. Let's create the logic, for example, a 2 moving average crossover, create the strategy with builder, and then when we try to optimize that strategy, then we can see where is the problem if we use the classic optimization fitness. Okay, so let's start by the beginning. Okay, so we have a strategy where we have two EMAs with different periods, and we want to optimize those periods. Okay, so new strategy with two EMA crossover. Next, and we can add also an extra setting. For example, if we take a look at here, no, here we have a crossover, but we can also use a threshold to specify, okay, the red line crosses above the blue line, but for more than a certain threshold to trigger a long, because this is just a little noise. Okay, so we can define, okay, how much must the red line cross to the other side of the blue line. So in that case, we can have also this input parameter. Okay, if this is my threshold, then my signal is here. Okay, the smaller the threshold, the faster the signal, but also more fake signals, because for example we have a short here and then a short. Okay, and in this case I don't know if there is a short and a long, maybe, because if we look at the red line, yeah, the red line is crossing below the blue line. So here we have a short, and at the following bar a long. We can minimize those errors having a threshold. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, so the parameters. For the parameters, we can say, okay, I want a target. If you don't want a target, okay, place a big number here. Okay, for example, I don't know, instead of 10 ticks, 1,000 ticks, 10,000 ticks, so you don't have a target. Okay, stop. Then the fast period, on this case is 17, but this is a number that I want to optimize. 17, the other is 34, slow, 34. Okay, and finally the threshold. And the threshold is a distance, okay, a distance in the price. So the price has decimals, we need to use a double. By default, no threshold. Okay, now it will be so simple as saying, okay, we have a crossover. The problem is the crossover, the included here. Okay, we cannot add the threshold. Let me show you. So if the indicator, the red line, no, EMA with a period fast, so we can click on set and link to the fast period. Okay, so if the EMA fast crosses above the indicator EMA also slow, okay? So if the fast crosses above the slow, the offset, the threshold, is grayed out. So we cannot place a threshold. What can we do? A crossover are two conditions. Now on the current bar, the red line is over the blue. On the previous line, it was below. So we can replace that by greater. And now we can see that we have the space for the offset or threshold. So now the EMA fast is greater than the EMA slow. Okay, and you can also draw those lines, plot. The fast is red, the other is blue. So when you enable the strategy, it also draw the lines. So EMA fast now, 0 is now, is greater than the EMA slow now. But previously, one bar ago, so we can right click and copy, right click and paste, and delay everything one bar ago this one bar ago this one. And now it is no greater, it is less. Okay, it is on the other side. This is a crossover. Okay, but now we have the offset. Okay, so the EMA fast is greater than the EMA slow plus threshold. Okay, user input threshold. So the red line is crossing the blue line plus the threshold. Okay, and previously it was not true, so we also need to add the threshold here. Okay, so this is the condition for a long signal. Instead of placing an order, let's draw or paint the background with a color so we can check if it is working or not. Okay, set background color in something blue. For the shorts, we can duplicate, and now change the color, maybe orange. And for the shorts, the EMA fast, the short is when the red line crosses below the blue, minus, no plus, minus the threshold, okay? So the EMA fast now is less than the EMA slow minus the threshold, minus, okay? I am going to delete so we can copy, paste, and just do the opposite one bar ago, okay? One bar ago, it is not less, it is greater, okay? Let's see if it works. We can compile, and now we can apply the strategy to the chart. The name was with two EMAs. With here. No threshold, 17 and 34, those two lines. Okay, and now we can enable the strategy. And it looks like working, right? Because here we have a short, here a long, a short, a long. So it seems like working. This is the noise that I was commenting at the beginning, okay? Because the red line is slightly crossing below, maybe 1 pixel, okay? But it is crossing. What happens if we add a threshold of more or less, I don't know, maybe this distance? How much is that? We can take the ruler from here to here. We have in price, no in ticks, it is 8 points, no? Okay, let's add 8 points and see what happens. Strategy. Eight points. We have the decimal point here, so we can add a quarter, etc. Okay, enable. And yes, it looks like working. We have a short, but this is a good example where, okay, we have a long because the market has crossed here from below. And when the distance is greater than my threshold, here. But I don't want another long, okay? Because it has already triggered. The problem is, okay, the distance is decreasing and then increase again. So I am crossing that distance. This is not what we want, okay? We want one long, one short. What can we do? We can use a variable for that, where we store which was the last signal, a long, and then only do a short. So we can go back and use a variable, for example, trend, okay? By default, 0. When we execute a long, we make it 1. When we execute a short, we make it -1, okay? Now, when I execute a long, I make it equal to 1, okay? Set trend equal to 1. When I execute a short, I make it equal to -1. -1, okay? But this is not enough, okay? Now, to trigger a long, I don't want that my last signal was also a 1. So here I set that the variable trend is not equal to miscellaneous numeric value 1. Okay? So if it is not equal to 1 and I am crossing the threshold, then I have a signal and I make trend equal to 1. So this is not going to happen again. Okay? And for the shorts, we can say, okay, I don't want that trend is equal to -1. So not equal to miscellaneous numeric value -1. Okay? If it is not equal to -1, execute the order or paint and also make it equal to -1. Let's compile again. Now refresh the strategy, disable and enable, and now we have only one long and then one short and so on. Okay? So now it is doing what we want. Longs and shorts, longs and shorts. Each time there is a minimum distance. Okay? The red line crosses over the blue, but at a minimum distance, and then the same for the other side. Of course, making the threshold 0 is when we have more signals. Now to continue, we can add orders. Here an enter long, here an enter short, and finally we are using target and stops, even if they are really big. Okay, so on the next step, we add a target in ticks defined by the input parameter target. Then we add a stop in ticks defined by the input parameter stop. Okay, okay, compile. Now we refresh the strategy and it is now placing orders, okay? If we want to test the option of the targets are really small here, no? Only 10 ticks. Let's make it 50 ticks. Disable. Let's make it 50 versus 50. Enable, apply. Now it is almost invisible. Let's make it even bigger. Uh, 200, 200, enable, apply. Okay, this is 200. Okay, and this is 200. 200 ticks. This is a long. This is a short. There's no signal here, and this is a long, and it seems to be working. Okay, now which is the best combination of target, stop? By the way, if you don't want to use stop and target, I don't suggest doing that, but with this solution you can also make it, because you can place a number impossible to reach. For example, I don't know, 9999, 9999. It is impossible to reach a target so big. And now we have a short, reversed to long, reversed to short, reversed to long, and we are still holding that long here. We can see close position, long. This system is always in the market. It is also exiting at end of the day, at day session close. This is also an option that you can, I don't suggest doing that, but you can also turn off. By default is always on, exit on session close. If you turn off this and enable again, okay, then it is always in the market, including the weekends. Okay, now the most important, let's go to the optimization. So we can close this, and new strategy. No, here I have a strategy analyzer. The strategy is not this one, of course, is with 2 EMA crossover, this one. Okay, and we want to optimize. I want to optimize 5 minutes of NQ. We have 3 months here, so that's enough, including commissions. And also for the target, we want to try between 50 and 200 in intervals of 50. Same for the stop, 50, 200 in intervals of 50. Let's see what happens with that. And this is what we want to create, okay? Because this is not included with NinjaTrader. This is an optimization fitness. What is included is maximum profit factor, just that. Okay? So what is doing? It is doing a back test for 50 versus 50. 50 plus 50 is 100 versus 50, 150 versus 50. So there are a lot of backtests, and then sort the results by profit factor. Okay, let's do a run. There are only 16 cases. Run again. Okay, now this is an example of what happens if I change the threshold. The threshold between 0, no threshold, and maybe 50 points. 50 points is a lot, okay? maybe 60, this is 0. 50 points is more or less this distance, okay? This is too much. It is taking just a few trades in intervals of 10. Okay, so now we have more combinations. And now the problem is, okay, we have a good performance, but the number of trades is small. By small, I mean, this is a statistical report, okay? And a statistical report is valid when you have data. And you need to set a minimum, okay? Maybe 100, maybe 200, but it should be a number bigger than 100, more or less. 42 is a very small sample, okay? Now, how can I give more priority to solutions with more than 100 trays, okay? It can be even worse if we change this from, let's try different slow moving average. So we can leave the fast to 17 and do 20 to 50 in intervals of 10. Now we have even more combinations, 380, no, 380, yes, 380. Even worse, okay, only one trade, excellent profit factor, 100 because all the trades, only one, are winners. Okay, discard the ones. So this is the following. Very nice equity cure, but only 40 trades, okay? So no, I don't want to see the, and these are the 10 best, okay? The 10 best sorted by profit factor. Now, I don't want to see something like that. So I want to, okay, what is doing the system? The system is testing, back testing one by one, all the combinations and looking at the profit factor and sorting by profit factor and showing the 10 best, okay? Okay, we can display the 20 best and the 30 best and remove manually what I don't want. But we can also add a logic that when this number is less than a certain number, we can replace the result by 0. We can replace the profit factor or the result of the optimization by 0. So when sorted, it is moved to the end of the list. So I don't want to see none of these numbers because I want more than 100 trays. Something like this, maximum profit factor, this one for more than 100 trays. Okay, we execute the same number of backtests, and which are the top 10? The top 10 are those. Okay, all of them have more than 100 trays. And the good results are discarded because the number of trades were too small. Now, how can we do this and a lot of more, another different solution? No? For example, we have also R-square. R-square is the linearity of the equity cure. The more linear the equity cure, this result is 1. 1 is a perfect straight line, okay? The problem is, okay, this is a number between 0 and 1. 0 is completely random, 1 is a perfect straight line. Sounds good, no? Because we can create an equity cure straight. The problem is the slope of that line. Let's take a look. Not only the number of trades now, it is also the slope, okay? So now we have a very nice and linear equity cure, but it is going down, okay? And all of them are going down because we can see here that all the profit factors are less than 1, okay? And where are the solutions where this is positive and also we have more than 100 trades? Maybe they don't exist, but those are only 100 of the total of more or less 400 backtests. but they are not listed. We can also create the R-square with more than 100 trades and also positive slope. Let's see what we get. And now, okay, this is not good. The performance, this is the R-square. The R-square is 0.83. The maximum is 1 or 0.99. The problem is the profit factor is not good, and also it is not sorted by profit factor. So usually when we create an analysis like this, we need to check by we need to see several of the results and see which one is better, because having a nice equity curve is not enough, because maybe the profit factor is bad. Okay. Of course, you can create more complex, like for example, the R square multiplied by the profit factor, and also that the net profit with more than 100. You can do something really complex. But let's see how we can do that. Okay, for that we need to go to New Editor, and this is open code, so you can edit and create your own optimization fitness here. If you double click, all those files with a log are those coming with included with NinjaTrader. For example, the maximum profit factor. Where is that? Maximum net profit? No. This one, maximum profit factor. So this is the maximum profit factor included with NinjaTrader, and you can see that we have several variables here. Again, this file is locked. You can see that there is a lock here. So if I try to edit, we can see that we get an error. But not an error, it is just saying that whatever you do, it is not going to be saved unless you save with a different name. But I wanted to show you, if you click on dot, you can see all the possible variables that we have to play. So let's create a new file, okay? Right click, save as, and I don't know, test, okay? There's nothing with the name test here, okay? Well, there is a test, okay? Optimization test, okay? Yes. Let's fix this, okay? Compile. And now we can still have a new name here, but we can place not just the name of the file. This is a string, so I can place my optimization test. Okay, so one is the name of the file, the other is the name that we can see on the list of the possible optimization fitness. So what can we do? Value is the system performance of all the trades and trade performance, profit factor, etc. But if we can create a variable, for example, integer my trades is equal to all of this, all trades, and now dot count, okay? Why? Because if my trades is less than 100, then I replace value by 0. Okay? This is valid. I can even not declare value, not declare my trace and place all of these inside here. Just another option. It is even simpler, so we can copy, paste, and we can remove that line. Okay, so we don't need we don't need to create the variable. Let's see if it works. Compile. We can see here the icon that it is compiling. There are no errors. This is the protected file, so I can close it. Okay. And now let's see if we can see in the list, no optimization test, but my optimization test. Okay, so new strategy analyzer, or I think I have it loaded. Okay, here is another one. The name of the strategy was with 2 EMAs here, but it is an optimization, and also the optimization fitness. When I click here, we should see the new record. Okay, let's try my optimization fitness. Okay, we should not see results at the top with less than 100 trades, or if they are visible, it means that there is nothing else, because it is not removing the results, it is sorting them at the end of the list. But if this is the only that it can get, they will be shown. Okay, 5 minutes, Nasdaq, NQ, include commissions, 50 to 500 in intervals of 50, 50 to 500 in intervals of 50, and for the slow, 20 to 100 in intervals of 10. How many combinations we have? 900. That's okay. Now playing with the threshold, we can get a we can get let's see what happens if we change this to maximum profit factor. This one, maximum profit factor. Run. I think we need to add a threshold to get low number of trades. Yes, the same results. So we need here a big threshold, for example, 0 to 50 in intervals of 10. The problem is now we have 5 or 6 extra combinations. So now this number is too big. So we can decrease, for example, I don't know, 100, 200. Not testing the targets. Only stops the slow and the threshold. Now we have one trade, okay? Analysis, only one trade. But if we change the optimization fitness by the one that we just created, my optimization test, let's see what we get. Now all the results with less than 100 are removed, okay? We can decrease that number. Where is the script? We can place 50. The problem is there is no input parameter. Okay, so we need to edit the code, compile, and then run again. Okay, now it is including results with numbers between 50 and 100, okay? Look at this one is not so bad, okay? But the number of trades is less than 100. But if you want to use this, okay, that's it. It is using 200 versus 350. The fast moving average is 17. The slow moving average is 70. And the threshold is 40. If you want to see the trades, you can go to chart. Here is a long. A short. Okay. The idea is now you can create your R1 optimization fitness, and you can do things more complex than that. You can combine profit factor, equity cure, drawdown. Okay. For example, a possible solution will be, okay, I want more than 100 trades, but also I want that my drawdown is no greater than something. Let's say, for example, let's go back to 50, okay? Let's take a look at the drawdown. Here we have 5,000, 4,000, okay? Okay, I don't want more than 5,000 for the drawdown. Now the problem is where is the drawdown? Okay, so we can type or strategy system performance. Well, if you don't know how to get the drawdown, there is an optimization fitness, but this is not what I want. There is an optimization fitness that search for the minimum drawdown, so we can see how it works. Okay, the minimum drawdown, this one. How much is the value? Percent drawdown. Let me close this. So we can say, okay, is the trade performance dot currency dot drawdown, and it is a negative number. So less minus 5,000. Okay. So I don't want these numbers. I want only this and all the rest. No. Let's see if it works. And now we repeat the report. And only numbers with a drawdown no bigger than 5,000. Okay, so that's a good. It's a nice filter. The only problem is there's no parameter, so we need to edit the code and place the corresponding, because if it is a micro, then we need to remove a zero, etc. But it is possible. Okay, so we can optimize by any parameter, filtering out whatever we don't want. Okay. Okay, hope this video has been useful, and if you have any question or comment, we have a chat room on Discord. The access is free. The instructions are on the description of this video, and we also have an advanced training sessions where if you subscribe, you have access to a lot of sessions where we analyze and optimize trade setups each week. Okay, but for more info, contact me on the chat room. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.